sprint. The second half is a sprint to the end, and that's why you're seeing teams go out at the deadline. That's why you saw, the frenzy at the deadline, trying to get what teams need. We just have to get hot for 2 months. You just got to get hot for 2 months and get in. And we saw last year when you get in, 2 wild card teams, the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, were in the World Series last year. They just know, just get into the dance.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom, coming in hot, Chinchy, day after the deadline. Let's go, man. There's some action Jackson going on here.
A lot of action, Jackson. And of course, it's always a Hollywood story, man. The Dodgers swoop in at the end of the movie and get their Hollywood ending with Flaherty, dude.
Yeah. Well, you knew they would, dude. You knew they're working. They got Flaherty, which is huge, going into that rotation. That's another big piece. They needed that, no doubt about it, with the health of that rotation been banged up all year long. So getting Flaherty's huge. They got Tommy Edman, too, from the Cardinals a couple of days ago. Kiermaier comes over from the Blue Jays. Talk about unloading. The Blue Jays unloaded.
Yes, they did. They absolutely
unloaded. So, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, we'll talk about that in a second. But, is he going to another Blue Jay going to the Pirates? So, but the Dodgers got Flaherty. It's a nice pickup for them. I don't know if it's a game changer. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good pitcher, but
I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. And I don't think it's not like they made a huge separation with the San Diego Padres, dude, because the Padres went bullpen hunting, dude. They might have the best bullpen in baseball now with all the guys they pulled in.
Dude, well, landing Tanner Scott is humongous, dude. I mean, that's a big ad right there. So, listen, at the end of the day, the Padres still have the prospects to trade. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, they trade their number 2 prospect, Robert Snelling, and their number 4 and 5 and 24 prospects, dude.
Yeah. And,
they gave a big haul back for Tanner Scott.
Yeah. And who was it? Jim Bowden was saying the other day, he's like,
Bowden.
Oh, I keep doing it backwards. Bowden. Oh my God, he's going to kill me.
Just want to let you know. He'll let you know, like I said.
He said, he's like, this is their time to shine. You said it. And I mean, the front office of the Padres, that's like having an ace on a mound during the trade deadline. Those guys know exactly what they're doing over there. Now, in New York, of course, it gets crazy over here because everybody's like, oh, the Yankees didn't do enough. Meanwhile, they got a guy hitting a home run every at bat now, Jazz Chisholm. I mean, you think if he, he's not going to hit home runs like this at any pace, but do you think he could possibly be the best offensive acquisition? And if so, did the Yankees do everything they needed to do? They also got Mark Leiter. When I saw Leiter, I was like, oh, Jack.
Yeah. No, it's great they got Mark Leiter, obviously a veteran, had a great couple years with the Cubs, so it's a great piece for them in the pen. Getting Jazz Chisholm, I mean, dude, he's hit 5 home runs in the first 3 games. Who knows if he can keep that pace up? Probably not, obviously. But, dude, he's already won a couple games for you. Because this is going to come down to 1 or 2 games. You got Jazz Chisholm. He's already won you a couple games.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Dude, he brings a dynamic when you watch that team. Like last night, I mean, first off, Judgy still, doing his thing. 3 more hits, I think, last night. But Jazz brings a different element to that team, and it lengthens that lineup. I think he's got over an 800 OPS. But for him to come in and show the power the way he's showing, he's playing good defense at third. That's impressive, dude. That was the right call. Right now, he's the best offensive piece that anybody's gotten, and that's what the Yankees needed, man. Because like you said, with Austin, with Soto, Judge, and then Austin Wells swinging the bat well. Then you can go Stanton. Then you can go Chisholm, or you could put, you could figure that out wherever that sits. But now your lineup has got some length to it and some thunder.
Yeah. And by the way, that matchup, the Yankees and the Phillies, it's not even like a World Series matchup. That was like, it's been like a heavyweight. It's like Drago versus Rocky. They kept knocking each other down and getting up. And I mean, If you see those two teams in a World Series together, that could be a really fun one. I'll tell
That
you.
was it was sending a message. I think the Yankees saying, don't count us out. Everybody in New York and everybody that's a Yankee fan, like the Yankees are healthy, getting healthy, back in it, and they beat the Phillies 14-4, and then beat them 7-6 in a tight game. So
yeah, now
they look good.
Yeah, they absolutely could look good. And perennial teams, this is what I'm reading a lot, is a lot of people are down on the Astros and the Red Sox for not kind of taking a bigger step. But at this, what was out there for you? And you think they are, I mean, they're still in it to win it. That's a cool thing, is like, even all these trades, Case, like they're trading pros for pros. Not too many prospects got like pulled off teams. And here we are. I think those two teams are like, hey, we got what we got, and we're going to do what we're going to do this year, and then we'll reload again next year.
Well, I think they feel like they have enough. I think the Red Sox feel like they have enough pitching. I think they feel like they have enough offense. Yoshida's having a great second half, so that's a big thing. He's hitting up to 280 now with like a 750 OPS. Duran's still doing his thing. Devers is a superstar. So I think they feel like they have enough pieces in that lineup. So the Red Sox are like, okay, no, we're good. The Astros didn't do a lot, but under the radar one they got, they got Ferguson to go out there in the pen. And they also got Kikuchi from the Blue Jays, who's not having a great year, but he's got more strikeouts to innings pitched, I think. So he's, doing well there. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. I almost think he throws too many strikes. And the Astros feel like if they get a hold of him, they can take him to another level. So we'll see how that pans out, because Kikuchi's got good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true. You speaking of under the radar, I'm gonna stick with the Mets, dude. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
I'm gonna stick with the Mets, because it's not like the Mets made any huge crazy move, but you got to go back to like the beginning of the season with the Mets. Almost, it's not even fair to just talk trade deadline. They've had bullpen problems. They got a lot of bullpen guys. Okay, they needed a lefty bat. They got Jesse Winkler the other day. You see what oh my God is doing over there at second base. I mean, he might be the best so far. So the Mets, I think Stearns has kind of like had in his head. They've been saying, Carlos Mendoza has been saying it. We like our team. These guys are better than these numbers earlier in the year, and they didn't seem to panic. And it seems like the Mets got better over the course of the last month or two, like filling the holes that were missing.
Yeah. I also feel like picking up Jesse Winker is a nice pickup. I mean, that makes, Winker's having a nice year, is hitting the ball with some power, hitting for average, kind of turning things around. And he gets on base. That's a nice piece for that lineup. But you're right. I think they kind of looked and they said, they got off to that weird start. They came out the gates and were terrible, 0-5. Next thing you know, they won 10 in a row or whatever it was. They're 12-5, 12-6, and then they just kind of tanked a little bit. Now they're back, and now they're making a run again. And their stars are being stars. Lindor has had a great last couple months. Alonso swinging. JD Martinez was a great bat in that lineup. Nimmo's been pretty good. And then Jose Iglesias comes over and does his thing. So I think they felt like they had enough. That rotation's been better than advertised too, which has been impressive. So adding another bat like Winker, I think the Mets feel like they're sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, and you're talking about that rotation. They picked up Paul Blackburn from the A's. That gives them a back end starter in a rotation, and just as importantly, they're talking about, should we take Buto and put him back as a starter because they converted him to the bullpen. Now you got another starter. You're like, all right, Buto, you're going to be where we want you to be. So I think they did a really good job. Hold on, what else do I got here? I got all my notes this morning. Sean and I were exchanging notes. Okay, let's go back to the sellers real quick while we're here. Blue Jays and Marlins. A lot of the insidery type, especially the people that know prospects and stuff, said they both did a really good job. And they got good prospects back for what we're doing. And we talked about it yesterday. Well, the Marlins were going nowhere, pretty much. They can retool, try to figure it out. And the Blue Jays, they're not doing anything. Nothing they do is stupid. I don't care.
No, the Blue Jays know what they're doing. They come from we talk about the Indians. Well, they invented the Indians system. Shapiro and Ross Atkins and those guys, so.
Right.
So, I mean, I think too, like, I don't think their minor leagues is that great either. Mm-hmm. Blue Jays. So now, trading these guys, now you're kind of flipping the system, Yeah. And you hold on to Guerrero, you hold on to Bichette. You can see whether you're going to try to build around them or not, but you got a lot of young guys coming in. That Horwitz kid's a good the first baseman they have, that guy can flat out swing it. So
Yeah.
I got some pieces.
Yeah, and I think they identified they weren't gonna. I mean, the Yankees and the Orioles. If it was just one team, it'd be one thing. But like, you can't pass those two teams this year. Although the Orioles, we're all sitting there going, "Oh wow, maybe they're going to trade Jackson Holliday and get an ace." No, Holliday's coming up, and he's going to be a big piece of this. The weird thing is getting Eloy Jimenez. I'm not. Everybody's trying to figure out where he fits in that, but he hits bombs when he's healthy. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, first off, Horwitz plays second base, not first base. But the Orioles, Eloy Jimenez to me is a guy that's a game-changing bat. You know, like if you need a big hit off the bench, if he doesn't play all the time, like he's a threat. Anytime you put him in there late in the game, bases loaded, nowhere to put him. You know, this guy hits the ball so freaking hard, Chinch. So, I mean, that's just a nice weapon to have if someone gets hurt or if he goes in there and, you know, however they're going to use him, he's a threat. I mean, this guy, when he's healthy, he's a really good player. And I love that they're calling Jackson Holliday up. You know, they had the headline on MLB.com was pretty funny because it was pretty misleading when it said Jackson Holliday heading to, and then they cut it off, ... to Baltimore, you know what I mean? So I like that Jackson Holliday's coming back up. I'm sure he learned a lot. You can't teach experience in life and in baseball. And at the end of the day, to come up and get punched around a little bit at any point is a good thing. That's where you learn. When you make mistakes, that's where you learn. So I'm sure Jackson Holliday learned a lot by not having a lot of success when he first got called to the big leagues. And I'm sure the second time around will be different for him. He'll be more relaxed, more at ease, not so much pressure. And I think it's great that he's back up.
Yeah. Now his name.
And wait, really quick, did you see Austin Hayes traded from the Orioles to the Phillies? You know, we're talking about those linear trades. He hits a 3-run bomb yesterday he drove in 4 runs last night. Said Chisholm driving 5, Austin Hayes driving 4. So, and dude, the Orioles got rid of Norby and Stowers for Trevor Rogers, which is like, dude, Trevor Rogers over the last 11 starts is like a 3.3 ERA. I mean, the guy's a stud. That guy's a nasty lefty, big dude. So I think that's a great pickup for them. But they got rid of 2 top prospects. Yeah. They just have no place for some of these guys. But it's interesting that they held on to Kobe Mayo, who I think is going to be a star, and Jackson Holliday. So, you know, listen, it's good for the Orioles for having the prospects to trade to get big pieces. I mean, Trevor Rogers, dude, could be a big piece in that rotation.
Yeah, and dude, you're talking about guys coming in and making immediate impacts as they're doing all over the country on these teams. How about Tommy Pham going back hitting a grand slam in his first AB with the Cards, dude?
Oh, did he? I didn't see that, dude. Yes. Tommy Pham to the Cardinals?
Yeah, so great. Yes, so this is the funniest part about it. Somebody posted this. His headshot with the they had his headshot. I guess he took a headshot this year with the White Sox, and he was pretty straight-faced and serious. Right. And then what they put up for his headshot for the
he was smiling
website, he's like a big smile, and there's like, this is a difference between the White Sox and the Cardinals right now.
I love it, dude. That's so great.
That dude has bet on himself every single season of his career. I don't care what you say. I will take that guy on my team any day of the week.
Go look at the teams Tommy Pham has been on the last 10 years. He wins everywhere he goes. For whatever reason, Tommy Pham is a winner. He wins it wherever he goes.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the other crazy thing. Speaking of who's going to be buyers, who are going to be sellers, we've been saying for like a couple weeks, we think the Cubs are going to sell. The Cubs pretty much bought. Let me pull up their stuff. Cubs trade deadline. They got a ton of stuff. Let's see. Paredes got.
Even the fact that they kept Bellinger, kept Suzuki, kept all those guys, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Didn't trade away their starters. Yeah, the only guy that really traded away was Mark Leiter.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, and that was almost even like a change of scenery thing for both of them. So, like, the Cubs are kind of in it. Again, it's what we said. I think one global theme that we saw over the last few days is nobody really, really wanted to dump their huge prospects for like a win now this season thing. And I don't know. On the flip side, I don't think anybody wanted to spend that money to that the however the caps are going to be and however the That's why I know the Giants said, "Oh, Snell's off the table." No, nobody's ever off the table. If a Yankee or a Philly GM wanted to get one of those guys, they would have figured out a way to do it. I don't think anybody wants to spend that money right now because, like you said, everybody's in it. The playoff format is such that anybody can win. My next question, though, is we've been saying Pirates. You said they need 2 big bats. Did they get enough? Because they are going for it.
Well, dude, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has had a great year so far. You know, I think he's hitting like around 290, almost an 800 OPS. He's had a nice year for the Blue Jays, under the radar, dude. Plays a great. He won a Gold Glove when he was at Texas, so he could play short, he could play third, he could play second, he could play anywhere. He could play the outfield. That's a great thing for Derek Sheldon, and also De La Cruz from the Marlins. I mean, the guy's hitting 245, 18 bombs. So you got a power bat there. So I think Ben Cherington did a great job of filling 2 needs. They're better offensively because of those 2 deals. You know, that's the bottom line. There's no real star players out there available. The only guy I thought that would be was Brent Rooker, but he didn't get dealt.
Right.
I thought he would be the one bat that was like, huge. Obviously, Jazz Chisholm has proven himself, betting on himself as far as saying, I love being here in New York, and it's taken me to another level with 5 bombs in his first 3 games.
Yeah, there you go. And in the AL side, same problem was the Mariners had. They go out, they get a Rosarina the other day, and they get Justin Turner. I think that's pretty big job they did. I think they did it for themselves.
Yeah, and they've been banging some runs out in these last 5 games too, and they put up some good runs, I believe, last night too. So yeah, that's a great. The teams that needed some offense that went out and did a good job. I think Jerry Dipoto did a great job getting Turner and Rosarina.
All right, so we got our boy Bobby Nightingale. He's your boy, right?
Yeah.
You like Bobby Nightingale.
Love Bob.
Bob came out with his trade deadline winners and losers, and the title says, quote, "What were the White Sox doing?" That's
right.
His number 1 winner was the Padres. I tend to maybe agree that they had the best day to get even better. I mean, they have a star-studded bullpen right now. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
Well, you know what? We know that if you're going to win in the postseason or get to the postseason, you've got to have a lockdown bullpen. I think A.J. Preller did a great job, especially going to get Trevor Scott. Big piece.
Yeah. And then he says the Phillies were one of his winners. "Quote unquote, no one goes for the jugular like Dave Dombrowski." You've been saying that all week long.
Yeah.
Let's see. His motto, quote, "Prospects are nice, but parades are forever."
Oh, that's good.
That's good. And yeah, we haven't even talked about it. They needed like at least some sort of back end reliever, and they dealt 5th and 7th best prospects, George Klassen and Samuel Algahiri, to the Los Angeles Angels for Carlos Estevez. Hasn't given a run up since May 28th. It's pretty good.
Wow. Dude. Dave Dombrowski was going to sit back. They needed a right-handed bat. They went and got Austin Hayes.
Yeah, exactly.
They needed a big bullpen guy. They got Estevez. I mean, the bottom line is Dave Dombrowski wins championships.
Yep.
Parades are forever.
Yeah, that's true. Another team he calls a winner, who we haven't talked about yet, are the Royals. He's saying, quote, that they're smelling the playoffs for a small market club, and they were very aggressive. They paid handsomely to get veteran relievers Hunter Harvey from the Washington Nationals and Lucas Erceg from the A's, along with starter Michael Lorenzen and infielder Paul DeJong. It's funny.
Wow.
This trade deadline stretches out so much that it's like 4 or 5 days of deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, you got to love a team like J.J. Piccolo and the Royals going out and getting some good players, knowing that, what they've been doing this year, their body of work's for real. I mean, they've played over 100 games and they're, 10 games over 500. So love that the Royals went out and made those deals.
Yeah. And one of the bigger losers he calls out is the Minnesota Twins. They got Jays reliever Trevor Richards. That was it. And we said it yesterday, the Guardians are maybe one of the best teams in baseball. You think they have enough, I guess.
Yeah. I think the Twins think they have enough, but I don't know. The one thing with me with the Twins is, can they stay healthy? You need Royce Lewis to play. You need Byron Buxton to play. So if they can stay healthy, that's huge. Hey, listen, what are they? They're 10 games over 500. Buxton's having a really nice year with the 834 OPS. Lewis, when he's healthy, looks like he's an MVP. Miranda's swinging the bat well. Santana's hitting well. Castro's swinging it. I mean, they feel like, when I looked up and down this lineup, they feel like they have the pieces to maybe even to win a wild card.
Yeah, one guy yesterday, and it looks like Nightingale agrees, Dan O'Dowd seemed really kind of feisty about what are you San Francisco Giants? It is interesting. They're saying they get rid of Soler, but then they keep Snell, right? And it's just a quirky type thing for them. It's like, are they still going for it?
And then they picked up Mark Canha, right?
Right, yes. And turn around trade Alex Cobb to Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's earning $10 million this year. And
so weird. Yeah, so
He's
weird.
gonna make a season debut this weekend, and then he's out. I don't understand what some of these teams do, but I mean, Farhan Zaidi's he's got a decent track record, you know. He said, "quote We have the best rotation in baseball." I guess that's why they think they're going for it. Yeah. But like, are they going for it? Why not go? If you're going for it and you have a good rotation, then don't trade away your power hitters. One last thing to think about though before we go, and Ken Rosenthal had this in the Athletic guys who always know what they're doing around this time of year. They're saying the Yankees backed out of trying to get Flaherty because they reviewed his medicals over the past month or so, and they didn't like it.
No, you know, and that's part of the consideration now. You're like, okay, are we going to trade some prospects to get a guy that might pitch, might not pitch? So it's part of the deal. Obviously, the Dodgers didn't feel that same way, and they found a way to make the deal and get it done where he, he's ready to go. Yeah,
and to that point, the White Sox didn't trade their ace because he already came out on his own and said, hey, I got innings problems, I got this and that. I think he hurt his future by telling people that.
Dude, that was so weird.
Wasn't it?
I mean, so weird. The demands that Crochet, the demands Crochet had. And also, too, like, you know, whatever it is, what it is. But, like, Getz and those guys were like, yeah, you want to be a starter? Let's do it. You know, so, like, they didn't have to do that either because he was such a good, like, back end of the bullpen closer guy, too. So he's got great stuff. But, hey, everyone has their own career. Everyone has their reasons why they do things. So,
yeah. And I'll put a bow on everything with one point you made. You made this, like, literally the day after the All-Star game. You said, this is not the second half, folks. I looked it up. There are teams with like 53 games left, Sean.
Yeah.
This is it. This is not the second half push after the trade deadline. This is.
It's not 81. It's not 81 and 81. This is like, it's 90 something game, 98 games or whatever. And then the rest, it's a sprint. The second half is a sprint to the end. And that's why you're seeing teams go out at the deadline. That's why you saw, you know, the frenzy at the deadline, trying to get what teams need. We just have to get hot for 2 months. You just got to get hot for 2 months and get in. And we saw last year when you get in, 2 wild card teams, the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, were in the World Series last year. They just know, just get into the dance. That's why the Buccos got 2 bats. That's why all these teams went out and got their needs. They just need to get in.
I love when I see the Sean Casey adrenaline starts going. I can see the face starts getting red from the bottom. Goes a little bit. You ready to go swing? All right, dude. It's gonna be a fun. I shouldn't say
awesome, dude.
Fun couple months.
Buckle up, man. This is gonna be fun, Chinch. This is gonna be fun.
We'll be here for it every day. We're excited.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, everyone out there, thanks for listening. We appreciate you, and Chinchy, appreciate you, man. Looking forward to tomorrow. See what happens tonight. We're gonna be locked into some of these games.